We'll see the Baltimore Orioles as they play against the St. Louis Cardinals. It's the MLB on 2K Sports.
Hi again, everybody. A Friday afternoon. Good time for a game. Steve Phillips, John Kruk with me. I'm Gary Thorne. We'll see Matt Holliday. He's on a mission to get a W today. Also the site of the 2009 All-Star Game, St. Louis and Busch Stadium. Adam Wainwright, the starting pitcher. And as he gets going against these Baltimore hitters, what do you think we're going to see?
Adam Wainwright does not have an overpowering fastball, but he can command it and locate it. He'll pitch hitters inside to keep them off the plate, then throw that backdoor breaking ball, one of the best curveballs in the game.
And time for the offensive lineup. Here's a look at what Buck Showalter's done. So who are you looking at, John?
Well, Derek Lee's counted on as a guy to hit in the middle of the lineup and produce runs. If he can do that, this team will win today. The one thing he always does, though, is bring his glove to the ballpark. One of the better defenders at first base you're going to see in the game.
And our leadoff hitter, Brian Roberts.
Strike one!
The pitch from Wainwright.
Ball.
Good patience as Brian Roberts lets that one go by. Count is even. Career batting average is only 133 off the Cardinals. Roberts makes contact. That'll be fouled off. And Wainwright with a 1-2 delivery. Fastball just about had him, and it's a 2-2 count.
He likes to swing 2-2. He's very aggressive, trying to fight off that strikeout. Let's see if he can get him chase a pitch out of the zone here.
Foul!
Brings that curveball, just about had him, but it's full.
They went with the big curveball off the plate, trying to get him to reach for it, but he lays off.
He kicks and throws to Roberts. Brian Roberts, and he'll be left standing. That's going to be strike three.
It's the best pitch in baseball, the fastball down and away. If you can master that, you can be successful. He's successful.
And now's a good time to take a quick look at how the St. Louis Cardinals will look defensively. So, John, thoughts on the fielders here?
Well, an extremely gifted athlete is Colby Rasmus, and he's so gifted he can play anywhere in the outfield. Typically, we'd like to see him in center field because of his great athleticism and his great throwing arm, but he's just as adept at playing any other position, and he can take one out of the park, too.
The pitch from Wainwright. Marquez watches it low.
Now, when you're struggling to score runs and create offense like the Orioles did last year, it's tough to win on the road, and they really struggled.
Wainwright delivers the 1-0. And that one's outside. Marquez lays off. Only 29-52 for the Orioles on the road. That is a disastrous record and has been the tendency over the last few years.
You know, really, it's hard to believe that it's actually better than it was in 2009. Second worst road offense in the American League. We already talked about the pitching not being all that great. That's not a good formula for success.
And that ball there as Wainwright misses.
Well, you've got to be careful right here. Look, you're down in the count 3-1. You just can't throw something in there and hope he gets himself out. This guy's too dangerous for that.
Now the 3-1 pitch. And a swing and a hit by Marquez. 2 down. Here's Adam Jones with 2 away. Taps this one foul off to the left. Well, Now Wainwright goes ahead 0-2 for the big fella. Jones watches it low.
Well, anytime you have a good fastball and you can keep it down in the zone around the knees or lower, it's great location and, believe me, very difficult to hit.
And Wainwright with a 1-2 delivery. You're out. Big swing and a miss for Adam Jones. That'll send him back, strike 3. Not a lot of action in this half inning, nothing on. Bottom half coming right up, St. Louis Cardinals. And Brian Mattis is the pitcher. He's going to start for Baltimore. And as he gets into this St. Louis lineup, Steve, what's the primary emphasis?
Well, Brian Mattis is not rattled easily. He's shown the ability to come back from getting knocked around at times to get himself back on track a little bit. He has to throw his fastball for strikes, though, to make that changeup effective.
Now the 1-0 pitch. It's now 1 ball, 1 strike. You watch that fastball that was in there.
Tough pitch to hit right here. When you run this fastball up and away, you have to elevate your swing to get on top of it. He ends up taking the pitch.
1-1 pitch. That one goes foul.
Foul.
He deals. Skip Schumacher isn't fooled by that pitch. The count is even. Tough pitch to lay off that time. Full count, 3-2.
Well, that's a pretty good pitch right there. That's one of those pitches you throw it out there and you hope the hitter chases it. He laid off, though. Now it's a battle.
It's in there. Strike 3. Skip Schumacher unable to pull the trigger.
Well, 2 strikes, that's exactly where the pitcher wants to put the ball. But as a hitter, you have to try to fight it off and make contact.
Now we have a moment to take a look at the Cardinals' offense. Now, John, anyone in particular we should keep an eye on?
Well, Colby Rasmus, a guy that coming into this game has the unbelievable potential of being a star player. Yet to be reached, but has the ability to do a lot of things on a baseball field that most people can't. Hit the ball out of the ballpark, great defender, great thrower. He has a lot of room to grow, though, as a hitter. But once he figures it out, he's going to be a great one.
Base is empty, 1 out. It's now 0-1. Watch that fastball go by.
Now, the Cardinals have to look back at 2010 with some disappointment with the depth of pitching they had with Chris Carpenter and Adam Wainwright and Jaime Garcia really stepping up in that rotation. They should have been good enough to go to the playoffs.
Good patience as Colby Rasmus lets that one go by, and the count is even. That team pitching of the Cardinals, 3.57. That's 5th best, not just in the league, but in the majors.
And that really points to the fact that pitching wasn't the issue. Although it struggled in September a little bit, their offense just was not consistent enough to support that staff.
This one to Jones as he gets to it for the out. And now we got a chance to take a quick look at how the Orioles will be setting up on defense. Any picks, John?
Well, Brian Roberts is a guy to keep your eye on. Yes, his range has diminished a little bit with his age and because of injuries, but he's still one of the more fundamentally sound second basemen you'll find in all of baseball. Look for him to do something great with his glove.
And a chance here with 2 down for Albert Pujols. 7 for 13 career off the Orioles. Ball. Curveball just misses. 1-0. The 1-0 pitch. And he looks at a changeup in there. 1-1.
Gary, he's unusually aggressive when the count goes to 1-1, figuring he's going to try to get that pitch over the plate, and I'm going to swing.
Here's the 1-1. Pujols, ground ball. And out. Pitcher makes a nice play at first base.
That was a nice play. Saw the opportunity at first. Didn't waste any time getting over. That's the key. Beat the runner to the bag.
Good hustle off the mound. And they go quietly offensively in this half inning. Nothing across. We're scoreless in St. Louis. And it can be tough. Sometimes you get that odd shadowing. It makes it hard to see the ball when you're at the plate with those clouds moving around. And Luke Scott up. And in this lineup, for this manager, this guy is a key player. Wainwright delivers the 1-0.
Ball 2.
And that's off the plate, away, ball 2.
Well, he tried to go outside on the outside corner with that fastball right there. Just got a little bit off the plate. He's got to be careful, though. You don't want that hitter to get his arms extended.
Ball 3.
And that is a ball. Luke Scott now. He'll be looking to swing here, 3-0. Over his career, a .265 hitter off the Cardinals. The pitch. Fouled away by Scott.
Foul.
Got a full count now. Swings and misses on a fastball. Wainwright readies. Full count pitch. Line towards third and foul. And on a full count, swing and a miss on the breaker. One down.
That's a big breaker on this one. Sails in at just 76 miles per hour. He chases the breaking ball for strike 3 right there. You got to lay off it.
And Derek Lee digs in. 1 out.
Well, after the trade to Atlanta in 2010, Derek Lee provided a spark for the Braves, getting him into the postseason. The power numbers were down, though, but he still hit for a pretty good average.
Just missed with the fastball. 1-0. John, as you were saying for Derek Lee, he did hit .287 after the trade. Now, even though the power wasn't there, he did do a good job driving in runs and getting on base.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. In his past, the power numbers have kind of come and gone from time to time. The batting average oftentimes still there. So I think he still has some good baseball in him. And he's always a solid defender at first base.
Swings at that 1-1 pitch. Fastball by him. Strike 2.
Was a hitter, when a guy has a good fastball, you think you have to swing a lot harder to try to catch up with it. You really don't, but he did right there, and that's why he blew it past him.
Fastball in there. Struck him out. Out number 2.
Okay, Cam's going to show us the 4-seam fastball here.
So 2 strikes, you got to protect. You can't just look at that pitch go down the middle.
Johnny, he certainly wasn't expecting another fastball there.
Oh, and that's the problem. You can adjust to off speed, but if you look for something slow and get a heater, you're done.
And Mark Reynolds. A career .267 number off Adam Wainwright. Base is empty with 2 outs. The fastball is in there. It's 0-1.
A good 4-seam fastball right there. You have to know yourself. He didn't think he could catch up to it. Better off to take it.
And here's a big swing and a miss. 0-2. And it goes foul. The pitch. Reynolds, another foul ball.
Well, you're told with an 0-2 count to spread out your stance and to choke up on the bat so you can put the ball in play. Better control of the bat, and that's what he did right there. That 0-2 pitch, just barely getting enough of it to put it in foul territory so he can continue this at bat.
Curveball. Thought he had him, but it's 1-2.
But you want to start this pitch outside. The curveball is better when it's away from the hitter to break out of the zone, but it never had a chance of being a strike.
And Wainwright with a 1-2 delivery. Another foul ball. Reynolds fighting in this at-bat.
Well, anytime you're behind in a count, and in this case the 1-2 count, you have to maintain that focus. You have to really be dialed into what the pitcher's throwing. You have to get in that defensive mode, though, and make sure you can foul it off, and that's what he did there to keep himself going.
And nothing across here in this half of the inning. We're scoreless in St. Louis. Heart of the order due to bat next. Called strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
Gary, he gets a little over anxious at the plate when the count goes to 0-1, so look for them maybe to expand the strike zone and get him to chase something.
And with 2 strikes on him now, Holliday will be protecting that zone. This one could be trouble down the right field line. And Markakis takes care of that one. 1 away. One out. Lance Berkman will stand in.
Well, Brian Matus is a guy who was trying to find his way in the big leagues. He had flashes of greatness, but he also had streaks where he wasn't very good. But that's what you get with young players. Stick with him, though. He has a chance to be a good one.
Here's the pitch. He swings and hits this one. Going to be fielded by Jones. And there it is. That's our first hit of the ball game. And for Brian Matus, the learning curve now, the Orioles hope, has come to a peak, and now he will start delivering the W's that he's got the stuff to do.
Well, once Buck Showalter came in, he really turned himself around. He became much more aggressive in the zone. They challenged him, and he responded.
Runner at first with 1 down. Here's the delivery. First pitch, a changeup outside, 1-0.
Well, that's where you look for a changeup from the pitcher away in the strike zone. And if they look for it and get it, they can really shoot that thing the other way and do some damage.
Here's the 1-0. Swung on, contact made. It's going to be Markakis. And it's Molina at the plate.
When you're looking to generate offense, speed can be an important factor. They bring in the faster base runner now. Let's see if he can do something.
Runner on first, 2 away. Smash towards the middle. Roberts picks it up. Throws on to first. Side is retired. That's a real good inning. Another one from Brian Matus. Nothing doing in the first 2. Goose eggs on the board for him. Up next, Orioles. And it's Matt Wieters. He'll lead it off. The pitch from Wainwright. Changeup just misses. 1-0. On the way. 1-0 pitch, changeup in there. 1-1.
A very effective pitch. The changeup painting the outside corner. Now you can go back hard in or go soft away again.
The 1-1 pitch.
Foul!
Swung on and fouled away. The 1-2 pitch. And Matt Wieters comes up empty with that swing. Strike 3, he's gone.
Well, 2 strikes, you have to try to fight off this pitch. You have to think away and adjust in. They went away, but he couldn't make contact.
J.J. Hardy up.
Well, another outstanding season for Adam Wainwright. You have to remember, when the St. Louis Cardinals won the World Series, who was the closer for them? Adam Wainwright. They converted him to a starter, and he has just done what everyone thought he could do. 2.42 ERA with a 1.05 whip, both career best in 2010.
Swung on by Hardy, strike one. Before Adam Wainwright, the numbers John was talking about, he had a 20-win season. That's the first time he's done that, Steve.
Listen, he also had 5 complete games, 2 shutouts, and pitched over 230 innings. But what I like is he takes that closer mentality and that role that he served in a couple years ago, and he brings it into the starting rotation. When he's in a jam, he knows how to put up zeros.
And Molina spotting the pitch.
Foul!
And it's fouled off. Swing, soft liner, right side. Base hit, gets it down. That's our first hit of the game for these guys.
Well, finally they get a hit here in the 3rd inning, their first hit of the game. Let's see if they can do something with it.
And it's Mattis batting.
Well, they needed a little extra speed out there to cover the bases, potentially steal a base. Let's see if this added speed pays off.
I think with one out here, Steve, we might see him bunt.
Well, with the pitcher coming up, I think you have to expect they're going to sacrifice him over.
One out, runner on at first. The pitch from Wainwright. He squares around and he gets this one down. Freeze feels that one. Throw to first, gets him, and there are 2 down.
To be a successful pitcher, you have to be able to pitch and field your position, but you also have to handle the bat, and that's what he did right there.
Now, that number 9 spot, Steve, a lot of people say that's just a waste. That's an automatic out. That's how you take and get something out of it.
That's how you help yourself when you're the pitcher.
Two outs and a runner on second. First pitch to Roberts. And the pitch from Wainwright. That's good for a strike.
You got the hitter down in a hole. You know he struggles with sliders when he's behind in the count. You got to throw him the slider.
Strike 2. Roberts will have to be careful here.
Well, 0-2, he likes to start the ball in the zone and then break that curveball out of the zone. You better be ready for it and have some patience.
That one misses. It gets away from the catcher. And the throw. And he is safe at third ahead of that play. One-two pitch coming.
You're out.
And Roberts looks at strike 3. He's gone. Good work there. Adam Wainwright. Nothing doing through 3 innings for him. We're at the top of the 3rd over. We'll move on to the home half of the inning. And it's Ryan Theriot to lead us off.
Well, it's always nice to have a defensive replacement coming off the bench and holding a lead or holding a deficit and giving yourself a chance to win. Now he needs to come up with a big play.
Bottom of the 3rd inning and a 1-0 count.
He's a very patient hitter, Gary. He likes to work the count, make the pitcher do a lot of work out on the mound, but you got to go right at him right now and try to even it up.
Change up just off the black. Falls behind 2-0.
Well, that pitch right there, that change up away, if a guy's looking for it, that's a great pitch to be able to hit the other way with some power.
The 2-0 towards the middle. And that's a base hit. Theriot on board.
Well, that's the start this team needed. Get that first guy in the inning up, get him on base, and let's see if they can bring him around to score.
It's Wainwright at the plate. What do you think, Steve? A bunt here?
It's a definite bunt situation with the pitcher up. They've got to get the runners moved up.
Let's see if they agree. Runner on first. The pitch. And he tries to get one down. Mattis. Throw one to first in time. One away.
You want to get runners in scoring position, and sometimes you have to lay the ball down and get them advanced. That's what he did right there.
And if this runner scores, we'll go back and take a look at what just happened and say thank you very much.
Good team baseball right there.
And on second, one away. The first pitch. That one swung on, its line. That one is in there. That should score Terrio. And they win it. Game-winning run is across.
Well, they treated their hometown crowd to a phenomenal pitching performance in this one. A big win on the shoulders of their pitchers.
I think you'll agree we have got the perfect choice in this one for our player of the game. A commanding performance by the starter, Adam Wainwright.
Well, any starting pitcher will tell you that the last thing he wants to ever have to do is to turn the game over to the bullpen. They like to finish what they start, and that's exactly what he did today. He had all his pitches working, and he had complete command of the strike zone out there. He kept his lineup in check for the entire game and finished it strong.
And, Steve, that ought to send these folks home happy.
Oh, no question about it. They get the win in a close game, a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, and ready for the next one.
And we hope you've enjoyed today's 2K Sports broadcast of Major League Baseball. For Steve, John, and our entire 2K Sports crew, I'm Gary Thorne. We will see you soon.